Local every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
Kings and Warriors, is this a rivalry? Oh, let there be no doubt that there is after Chris Mullin just told us, oh, yeah, this is a rivalry,
yes.
right?
If the Hall of Famer says it, got to be true, right?
Yeah. Tino, by the way, in the chat says, to be compared to Larry Bird. Wow. So everybody's happy.
That might be one of the highlights of my life right there. Chris Mullin, compare me to Bird. I'm okay with that.
Actually said you have to do what Larry Bird did. I mean, you could quibble.
Hold on. Now you're backtracking a little bit. Now you're changing it up. Come on, man. Just give me that.
Nice enough to join us as he does every week. Athletic NBA insider Anthony Slater. Slate's bad news for the Kings. No Domantas Sabonis tonight. Yeah. How does that impact the game plan tonight?
Pretty significantly.
Yeah.
I wonder. I mean, I immediately just think about how many Valanciunas minutes can the Kings have against the Warriors. This used to be a question in in those big Memphis Warriors games when Valanciunas was part of those early Ja Morant teams. I actually remember Valanciunas had a really good play-in game against them. Remember when the young Ja Morant upset the Warriors in the Chase Center? Yeah. That night Valanciunas was really good on the glass, I remember. And especially the Warriors that, backs against the wall, they want to go small. They want Draymond Green at center, 6'6", small and fast. And there have certainly been times in the past that they've basically run Valanciunas off the floor. But that's always been kind of the seesaw. Can he beat them up enough on the offensive glass that it punishes them, or is he exposed too much out in space against these really quick lineups that he has to get taken off the floor? And if he is, with no Sabonis tonight, what lineups can the Kings go to? Is it maybe like a Jake LaRavia type game? Can you get into some small, fast combinations to stay in the game?
Slates, who do the Warriors start at center? Is Quentin Post a starter now? What's their starting five with Jimmy Butler and Draymond, obviously, and Steph, and no Pajemski tonight? Yeah, what's their starting five?
Yeah. Well, you said that there no Pajemski means Quentin Post very likely will start. He started the last few games without Pajemski because Pajemski has a little back injury. If he was available, they would start really small, as they did coming out of the break in Sacramento, where it's Draymond at center, nobody in the lineup's taller than 6'7". Jimmy Butler is the tallest player. But tonight I would expect Quentin Post, who's 7-footer, but he's a real stretch, thin, tall type shooter at the five. He's not your bruiser. He's not Kevon Looney, certainly. Looney will get some backup center minutes. But Jonathan Kuminga comes back tonight, and I would expect him to close without a center on the floor. I think the big minutes in this game will be with Draymond Green at the five.
It seems like whenever they play the Kings, Quentin Post turns into Jack Sikma or something. Slates, the Kings are fighting to move
Larry Bird, right?
There's only one Larry Bird comparison here. Only one Larry Bird comparison.
Kings fighting to move up, of course, to maybe the 7th or 8th spot, and they're running out of time. But how big is tonight's game for the Warriors now, the way Minnesota's playing?
Yeah, I mean, every game is big for both teams right now at this stage, and I do think tonight is kind of, if the Warriors can beat the Kings tonight, they would be 4.5 up. If they lose, the Kings are not only 2.5 back of the Warriors, but they would get the head-to-head tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So to me, a Warriors win tonight, I think basically makes it so the Warriors can't go below 8, because I think that's enough separation considering the Kings' schedule. But, I guess so if you flip that on the Kings side of things, if they lose tonight, I think the highest they can go to 7. If they win, they're right in that in that muddled mix, and 6 is at least still an opportunity there. But as you mentioned, I think right now if you're the Kings, you just want to be on the 7-8 side of the play-in. That's the biggest thing. And then, Minnesota's one of the hottest teams in basketball. You mentioned it, but they blew the Nuggets out the other night. And any loss right now, really for the Warriors or anyone in that mix, you're in danger of, no matter how good they've been playing lately, of sitting in the play-in. And I'm sitting here waiting, somehow expecting the path to be a Warriors-Kings playing game on that Tuesday, Wednesday night of playing week. It always is.
You've been saying that for a while, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. There will be an elimination game between the two, and likely played in Golden One Center, because I feel like all the big games are in Golden One Center.
Anthony Slater joining us. Slate, you mentioned the return of Jonathan Kuminga. How do you expect Steve Kerr to use him? Any kind of minutes restriction tonight?
Yeah, pretty careful minutes restriction. He's missed 31 games. He really messed his ankle up. So I'd expect 20 minutes. They're talking 5-minute spurts. He's going to be coming off the bench. So you're not going to see a ton of him. They're just trying to shake the rust off of him. But if he looks good and he's making sense, they might make those spurts to close halves theoretically. But it's a big question for them: is how is he going to fit in this new world, with this new Jimmy Butler world? This is not the team that Kuminga left. So, yeah. But like I said, it's going to be a light minute total for him tonight.
Catching up with Anthony Slater from The Athletic. And Slates, I don't mean to dredge up the past, but it wasn't that long ago. Is Mike Brown's dismissal still in any way a motivational chip for the Warriors when these two teams play?
I think in a sense of, like, I could see Draymond Green, if there's like a night type 3 tonight, like chirping over at the Kings bench and maybe making a comment that's like lightly related to it. Like, they definitely feel a type of way. Like, Mike Brown is very close with several members of the coaching staff, obviously several of the players. So, like, they did not like how that went down. As much of the league obviously didn't like it from a Mike Brown perspective. So, like, I don't think, pre-game speech tonight, Steve Kerr is bringing it up. But like I said, Draymond Green is known to throw a petty comment or two, especially once the game is or isn't out of reach.
Let's continue to coach talk here with Anthony Slater. Let's talk about Doug Christie in his future in Sacramento. How much do you think it's still left to be decided, and do we need to see this team, finish strong towards the end of the season here for Doug to get a shot to return as coach?
Yeah, I mean, I think he can't have like the bottom fall out, but in some ways, I think the bottom almost can't fall out at this point because of the Mavericks and Suns just kind of tailspin. Like, at this point, it's very, very likely that they're at least going to be in the play-in. And then sure, maybe it comes down to if they can get out of the play-in into the playoffs or if they don't. But again, it's like I never like decisions being made on one night of basketball, right? Like, so I think they've won at a good percentage with him there. He seems to have inspired, the locker room to a degree, and the noise that we've heard, and me and Sam reported last week in our stories, like,
Yep. We lost the Slates
from coach here, but you mentioned it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you back
a minute ago, but you're back now. Yeah.
Yeah. We reported it last week, but it seems like momentum is building in many ways for him to be the long-term answer at coach, at least beyond the season. But that's yet to be decided. And certainly what happens over the next several weeks will matter.
Slate, speaking of coaches, from Steve Kerr's perspective, what do you think is his biggest concern about the Kings in this matchup tonight?
Yeah, Levine going off would be one, right? How hot has he been lately? DeRozan's pump fakes. He always, Steve Kerr's always so obsessed with like random fundamentals of the game, and it's like if the Warriors jump at 3 or 4 DeMar DeRozan pump fakes and put him on the line for 11 free throws tonight, he might break a clipboard. So stuff like that. Typically, historically they've been all very worried about the Kings like up and down speed. And dribble handoff game with Sabonis and Malik Monk and Fox getting out in the open court and the pressure. But that's kind of like the Kings have reformed, right? I mean, that's really not the Kings team that the Warriors are facing tonight. So it's different stuff he has to worry about.
Hey, Slates, we discussed this a little bit earlier, and one of my takes was that outside of OKC, I think everybody is vulnerable in the Western Conference. How likely is it that we see a first-round upset, a lower seed beating a higher seed in the Western Conference?
I would guess at least one, right? And, where are the Lakers going to end up? I know a couple of weeks ago it looked like they were going to be the 2, but they've got a hellacious schedule coming up and no LeBron James. Like, there's a chance they could drop into the 5-6 range. And then you're talking about maybe, the Lakers being a lower seed, and do you consider that an upset if it's LeBron and Luka healthy by that time and they beat like a Rockets? Like, are the Rockets I guess I would say like this: if the Rockets in Memphis are like 2-4 or 3-4, yeah, I could definitely see either of those teams or both of those teams losing in the first round to a Lakers, Warriors, Timberwolves. The West is going to be wild. Really the whole playoffs in the West should be pretty wild.
Slates, we appreciate it. Enjoy the game tonight. We look forward to your coverage.
All right, fellas.
All right, babe. Talk to you next week, man.
Anthony Slater from The Athletic. When we come right back, the Kings against the Warriors. Kings fans needing some positivity. How can the Kings deliver it tonight? Next, Sactown Sports.
Hey, Daydreamer.